Since I'm on such a massive born and raised era kick right now, I thought I would do another video where I go over what I would choose to build a John Mayer inspired born and raised era pedal board for $1,000. Let's get into today's episode. So this is going to be how I would personally build this pedal board if I had to start from scratch. The pedals that I would choose that all have to obviously fit in the budget. As with these videos that I always do as well, we're going to tackle the rules very first. And the very first rule is that obviously we have a budget of $1,000. I am Canadian, however, so I'm going to be using $1,300 Canadian, which is just about 1,000 US dollars, and I'll do the conversions for you guys. The second rule is that there has to be a minimum of 5 pedals on the pedal board. 5 is a great number to shoot for, and you can cover a lot of ground with 5, but with a budget of $1,000, I'm going to be shooting for more than 5. Rule number 3, these pedals have to be found on Reverb today. That's kind of part of the challenge of this video. I have to go on Reverb and actually find them for a price that makes it all fit in the budget and results in a board that I am happy with. Rule number 4 is that this budget is strictly just for the pedals. So something like patch cables, a physical pedal board, power supply, anything like that would be an additional cost. As well, shipping is not included in the cost for today's video. You would just have to set some money aside hypothetically if you were doing this, but for the ease of today's video and just for the challenge, it's strictly pedals that are included within the budget. And the last rule is that I am generally assuming that whatever amp would be used with this pedal board has reverb built in. Therefore, I'm not really concerned with getting a reverb pedal generally with these sort of builds. All right, now that the rules are out of the way, again, you guys, this is just hypothetically how I would do it from scratch. You guys might have different choices that you would pick, and please let me know if your ending result is different than mine. It'd be interesting to see if you guys do this challenge as well, what you would pick and what you can find on Reverb in one shot. See if it works for you guys and let me know what options you choose. But again, this is just how I would hypothetically do it if I had to go about building a board today. So starting off here, let's tackle the drive section first. I always like to get this one done and out of the way early on and make sure we're happy with the drive section sounds first before moving on with the rest of the pedal board. Now the born and raised era is where John actually ditched the Marshall Blues Breaker Mark I for good in favor of the Klon Centaur. So we are going to look for a Klon Centaur style pedal first. Honestly, picking a Klon Centaur clone is a bit of a daunting task. There are so many great builders out there who make really awesome Klon clones that just nail the sound of the original. For today's video though, however, I wanted to see if I could find a Mythos Millionaire and make it work within our budget. And I did. I personally am just a massive fan of what Zach does and Mythos pedals in general, and the Millionaire is an awesome Klon Centaur style clone. For $216, it's going to fit perfectly within our budget, and that's what I'm going to choose for today's build. Next, of course, we have to cover the Tube Screamer. It's the classic Mayer overdrive, and if you have to have one overdrive to do the John Mayer thing, the Tube Screamer is the one you want. Now, the Wampler Moxie is a brand new pedal that isn't just a Tube Screamer clone, but it's specifically designed to mimic the sound of the Ibanez TS10, the main one that John has always pretty much used. Now, this pedal here is just going to be fantastic. Brian Wampler makes also some incredible products, and to have an actual TS10 inspired Tube Screamer on the market for a relatively affordable price, something we haven't really seen before, and this pedal is going to be an absolute no-brainer. Now looking on Reverb, I've already found a couple that are actually on sale for a discounted price, which is just ridiculous. For 184 Canadian, this pedal is just a no-brainer to grab for the TS10 sound. The next category I'd like to tackle here is clean boost, and the direction I'm going with this pedalboard build, it's a little bit more important than usual, and you guys will see a little bit later on. Now for this pedalboard build, I'm going to choose the Exotic Super Clean. It's a fantastic clean boost. It's relatively affordable, and it's one John Mayer has actually used. I found one for 130 Canadian, another great price and option, so we will add this to the build. We are 3 pedals into our build, and I think at this point it's only right that we tackle delay. Now with our budget of $1,000 and the pedals we have chosen, we have more than enough to tackle the long and shorter delays, so let's tackle that slapback sound first. For that iconic John Mayer slapback sound, you can't go wrong with the Way Huge Octopus Mark III. It sounds a bit closer to the Mark I compared to the Mark II, and it's made by the same people who did it. This is just an absolute no-brainer option if you're looking for a pedal to nail that John Mayer slapback thing. The most affordable Mark III Octopus that I was able to find is for 138 Canadian, another great price, and we're going to add that to our pedal board. Now for the long delay sound, at this point in the build, I just thought I'd try and go big or go home really. I wanted to see if I could find a Provenance chrono delay that would fit within our budget and leave us a bit extra for the overall direction I wanted to go with this board build to really make it Born and Raised inspired. And I did. You can easily find a Provenance chrono delay that will fit within this budget. It's just a fantastic delay pedal. The screen on it is just awesome in order to dial in your sounds and your delay time more easily. Then you also have, of course, the tap tempo function and an A/B switch so you can save presets as well. This pedal is just feature packed and it's John Mayer's current digital delay with tap tempo of choice. So why not add the exact same one he uses to this pedal board build? Yes, at $291 Canadian, this Provenance chrono delay does take up a large portion of our budget. However, this is a fantastic pedal that, at least in the scenario of this build, you would never want to upgrade or never really need to upgrade, and you're getting just an awesome feature set again, and we have more than enough money left over to really take this pedal board now in the direction of the Born and Raised inspiration that I want. So at this point in our build, we have 5 fantastic pedals. We have an exotic super clean, we have a Mythos Millionaire Overdrive, we have a Wampler Moxie, followed by a Way Huge Octopus Mark III and a Provenance chrono delay. But these 5 pedals, even though they're really necessary for any John Mayer inspired pedal board, they don't really make it necessarily Born and Raised inspired. And now to do this, we're going to go with a 6th pedal. And for this build at least, I had to think about what sounds are iconic to me from the Born and Raised era and kind of what songs really speak to me from that time as well. And for me, probably the biggest one is Love is a Verb. I absolutely love that song. I'm just a sucker for the Leslie effect too in general. I just think it's a really sweet effect and always sounds great. And John's use of Leslie on Love is a Verb is absolutely phenomenal.
Love is a verb. Love is a verb. Love is a verb.
Now the trick here is finding a really great Leslie pedal. A lot of Leslie pedals out there, while they sound good, don't really mimic the real thing all that well. They're kind of a bit of their own sound. And the Strymon Lex, the original version now, is what John used during the Born and Raised in Paradise Valley eras in order to do Love is a Verb. At least it's the main one he stuck with for the longest during that era. And we actually can find one in our budget. So the Strymon Lex, now the Mark I, I think they're calling it, or the version 1 now compared to the brand new one, is what we are going with. For $285 Canadian, we are able to fit this version 1 Strymon Lex within our budget. Again, you're getting the exact same pedal John was using. It sounds fantastic, and Strymon makes incredible stuff as well. And so this combination now with the exotic super clean is really going to be what would tackle Love is a Verb. For the solos as well as the lead lines John would play, of course he'd have the Leslie going, but he would use a clean boost in order to just elevate his guitar tone and really punch through a bit more because he didn't want overdrive going for those lead lines. Just clean with that beautiful Leslie effect. So that's why I really wanted to emphasize getting a great clean boost as well in order to really do Love is a Verb justice. With these 6 phenomenal pedals, I have come in actually well under budget, just about $950 out of our $1,000 budget, and I wouldn't trade any of these pedals honestly for this hypothetical build. If you were to do this, for example, in real life, this $50 could just be extra money you could put towards shipping or patch cables, whatever you wanted to do. And I'm not going to worry about spending it. But once again, it's really nice to come in decently under budget and be able to get an awesome Born and Raised inspired pedal board this time for a really great price. And again, not sacrificing tone or anything in order to make something fit within the budget. Now at this point here, I'll go over the signal chain that I would recommend for this pedal board build. Again, this is just a really fun way for me to give you guys some recommendations and just show you how I would personally go about doing things. Again, if I had to start from scratch and do a build, these are just really fun videos to do, and I'd love to hear your guys' recommendations if you have something different. But stick to the rules of the challenge that I did as well to make it fair. Now, the signal chain I'd recommend is the exotic super clean, followed by the Mythos Millionaire. Then you have the Wampler Moxie, Way Huge Octopus Mark III, Provenance chrono delay, finishing off with the Strymon Lex. I would just put rotary near the very end, or you could put it between the Wampler Moxie and the delays, but I'm just throwing it at the very end of the signal chain. And there you guys go. That is how I would personally build a Born and Raised John Mayer inspired pedal board from scratch with a budget of $1,000. If I had to go on Reverb and buy everything today, Those are at least just my recommendations. If there's anything that you would have chosen differently, let me know in the comments down below. But it has to stick within the rules that I set in this video to make it fair. As always, you guys, as well, if there's anything else like this video you guys would like to see, please leave a comment down below and let me know. Thank you guys so much for the support on my channel, as always, as well. See you on the next one.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.